Hey guys, Danny here. Today we're looking at the Hubsan X4 Desire Pro. This is a budget GPS drone. It's amazing value for money and you're going to want to check out the rest of my review. I think this might just be one of the best value for money GPS drones you can buy right now. It comes with quite a few smart features. It has a waypoint system, a follow me mode, and it can also orbit you. For its size, it also has a decent flight time of around 12 minutes. It also has a full HD camera that saves to a micro SD card. As always, if you'd like to purchase this drone, I will put a link in the description for you, and I'll also see if I can find some coupon codes. I'm going to unbox this for you and then put it through its paces. Let's get straight to it. The drone is a lot smaller than I was expecting. So we've got the controller. The sticks are a little bit funky looking, but they've got this textured finish to them, so they're easier to grip. You can also see that the buttons are labelled. This is something that every manufacturer should do. We've got our phone holder. It's feeling pretty decent quality. I like that. The controller takes 4 AAA batteries. We've got 4 prop guards. Our user manual. And lastly, there was a little parts compartment. So in here we've got 4 spare propellers. We've got our charging cable, which is standard USB one end. We've got some screws here. I'm not sure what these are for yet, but they might be spares. And we've also got a little mini screwdriver. I quite like the look and the colour of the drone. You can see the camera here on the front. We've got a compartment in the back where our battery goes. So we've got a 7.6 volt, 750 milliamp hour battery. I'm going to stick this on charge and then we will take it for a flight test.
When you first launch the Hubsan app, you will see that you have a choice to pick what drone you're using, as the app supports multiple drones. You then are asked to calibrate the geomagnet by turning the drone on 2 different axes. This was really easy to do and pretty quick. Once you do this, the message disappears. Here's where things get a little bit strange. You then need to connect the controller to your phone via Bluetooth. Now my understanding is the signals from the controller go to your phone via Bluetooth, then to the drone via Wi-Fi. I'm not quite sure why you need to do this, but nonetheless, that's how you control the drone, and it does seem to work okay. The app wouldn't let me take off until I got a GPS signal. On both times I've tested the drone, it's got GPS signal fairly quickly and I didn't have to wait too long. I really love Hubsan's app for this drone. It's got loads of different features and lots of display information on the screen, such as your battery percentage, the amount of GPS satellites you're connected to, your signal from the drone to your phone, as well as distance, your altitude, and you've got a lot of different buttons and features you can play around with. You've also got Google Maps in the top left of the screen. So the app definitely gets a thumbs up. It's really good, really solid. One of my concerns when I read the specifications for the drone was the range. It was stated to have about a max detailed control distance of 80 meters. I thought this was going to be a problem, but I still managed to have a lot of fun in the range I was able to take the drone to. I didn't feel like it held me back too much. I mean, you wouldn't really want to take this drone too far away. It doesn't have the greatest battery life. That's probably one of the shortfalls of this drone. It says it's supposed to have a maximum of a 12-minute battery life. I don't think I actually reached 10 minutes, but it was a very windy day and the drone had to constantly fight the wind, so this could have been a factor to it. But the low battery time really did feel like it killed my fun a little bit, but of course you could solve this by getting yourself some extra batteries. The drone has a return to home feature, meaning you can simply hit a button and it will either return to where it took off, or you can choose it to return to your current location. This feature worked really well on both times that I tested it. The only area it fell short was when it returned to me. It was a little bit far away from my actual landing pad where it took off from. This wasn't a massive issue, it came pretty close back to where it took off from, and this could have been due to me not having enough GPS satellites. Automatic landing and takeoff worked fairly well. On a few occasions when I automatically landed, it did seem to come down slightly harder than I would like it to, but it didn't cause any damage to the drone. There is also several smarter features included, such as waypoints. You can also get the drone to follow you, which you'll now see here. It worked fairly well, but it seemed like the drone was slightly off on where it thought I was standing. There is also a orbiting feature, and I experienced the same problem with this. It was orbiting a location, but it didn't seem to orbit where I was standing. This again could have just been some problems with a bad GPS signal. Here you can see I run away from the drone, and I was quite impressed that it actually kept up with me. I thought that it would keep stopping and then move forwards and then stop a bit more, but it actually followed me quite well, so I was quite impressed with that. Here's where things get even more interesting. I decided to take the drone out for a third flight test as it was a calmer day. It was raining, so it wasn't ideal weather, but there was hardly any wind at all, so I wanted to take the drone out just a final time and see how well it would perform. I decided to do a range test, and I was really surprised. The drone got to 200 meters and then it lost signal. But I was really impressed with this, as it was only stated to have a detail control distance of 80 meters. You'll see that right around 200 meters the signal goes all funny and then it loses connection. You'll then see that at the top of the screen it says return to home, so the drone automatically initiates its return to home feature. And this is where I was even more surprised. The drone started to make its way back to me, and once it regained connection it seemed to stop. I then hit return to home again. But just take a look where the drone actually lands when it returns to me.
See where it lands. It's pretty close. No way. I've never ever seen a drone land that close to a helipad.
Now let's take a look at some footage from the camera. The camera records directly to a micro SD card that you need to insert into the drone. It's capable of recording at full HD at 25 frames per second. I really thought the camera held up quite well, and I was quite impressed, especially for the price point of this product. You really can get some nice high aerial shots. I did find that the wind was making the drone quite unsteady, which was causing some shake in the camera, but on a nice calm day I think this drone would be a lot of fun to fly.
I think you'll be able to tell so far that I'm really surprised with this drone. For its price point and for its size, I think it performs really well. On the first flight test that I did find that the GPS seemed a little bit off, but I think that was due to the high wind. So I'm just going to come straight out and say it. I think this is one of the best value for money GPS drones you can buy right now. I also think this is a perfect beginner drone. If you're thinking of getting into flying and you're worried about losing the drone, or you're worried about learning the controls, this thing flies really steady, and it also has a decent battery life, really good FPV signal, smart features, and at the moment this is around £70 on GearBest. I personally think that's a really good deal. But let's go a little bit more into what I thought about some of the smaller details of the drone. I like the design and shape and colour of the drone. I think it's quite different to some of the other ones that I've reviewed on this channel. There's something about its size that I find really appealing. I have tested some larger GPS drones, but this small one, it grew on me because of the size. This thing has a really good FPV distance. I flew this out to almost 200 meters and then it lost connection. I think this is really impressive for a drone of this size and this price. The FPV signal was solid most of the time that I was flying. The smart features work fairly well, and you saw on my second flight test, this thing literally landed on the pad that it took off from when I hit return to home. I thought that was pretty amazing. I haven't seen that before. The app is one of the best I have used for one of these lower cost drones. The controller also has to be one of my favorites that I've tested in these toy grade drones. The folding mechanism for the phone holder feels nice and sturdy, and the actual holder for the phone feels strong. I didn't feel like my phone was waving around or that it was loose or anything like that, which I've experienced a lot. Some of you that have got very large phones may struggle to fit this in there, but I think for most of you this won't be a problem. It may just be the case that you might have to take the case off of your phone. I've got a Samsung Galaxy S7 and I didn't have any problems there. I like the fact that the micro SD card is really easy to get to. It's at the bottom of the drone and it's easy to take in and out. One minor detail on the drone that I wasn't too fond of is this little compartment on the back. This little hinge door here feels really flimsy and like it might not last too long, but it didn't actually cause me any problems, but it is something I would worry about over time, how long it would last. If you're looking for maybe your first time drone or specifically a GPS drone and you was thinking about getting this model, I would definitely recommend it. I would also really recommend picking up an extra battery for this drone. Of course, I will put a link in the description where you can pick this up, and I'll see if I can also find a link to some spare batteries for you. I really hope you enjoyed the video, guys, and it was informative to you. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. And hey, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing for more videos like this one. And of course, I will see you in the next one.